afternoon. Discombobulated here. Is anybody else shocked by the price of gas? I went to fill up my motorcycle. It's just normally it wasn't all the way on empty, but normally it's say 14, 16 bucks. It was like 20 bucks this time, and I usually run premium, but this was the first time I paid $5.14 for a gallon of premium, and it just made me feel lucky that I have the motorbike to ride, because if I'd been taking old Betsy here to work, I'm not even sure what it would be costing me, but it'd be costing a pretty penny. I'm pretty sure of that. And I'm kind of worried about the motorbike because I still haven't done my front shock seal, and it's leaking a little bit of oil every day. And sometimes when I'm out there on my death ride, maybe going around a long curve at 80 miles an hour on the highway, I just wonder, is everything going to be okay, with my shock absorber, one having less oil, one having more oil. And I've been in this situation before, but I wasn't doing this much riding or this much of this kind of riding, this kind of high-speed highway riding. And, I don't know. And I just can't seem to find the time to get to it. Well, and more like the energy, too. And then right now, the mosquitoes just came out really bad. So working in the evening outside, it's just hard to stay focused. Maybe if I could get dressed a little bit better for it with long sleeves and whatnot. But I finally was able to get a new phone when I was trying to film the situation with the birds. Well, I say film, but I guess video. The situation with the birds, my camera just would not focus, and it's been giving me troubles with that for quite a while. And I tried stuff like clearing the cache and the camera cache and making sure the lens was clean, but everything was scratched up and it was just getting old. And so I got a phone. It was only like 170 bucks, which wasn't too bad. And so anyways, I finally got that worked out. And the bird situation still got me on edge. I'm feeling a little more like I'm accepting it, or like some kind of a sense of surrender. The Killdeer are fine right now, well, except for there's only 2 eggs and there was 4. It's a mystery what happened to the other 2. But they have a good fence around the perimeter now. Well, I won't even say it's a good fence, but it's about a 30-foot perimeter. Maybe now my phone's working, I could video it. But now there's this situation with the duck, and it's a mallard, and she's real sweet. And it's that same bird. I'm pretty sure it's the same bird I saw when I first started the job. She was at a park that was not too far away, and I was telling Johnny, hey, what is it? Because she seemed like she was lost or something. And I was like, what do you think this duck's up to, And he seemed like he was kind of curious, and he was duck friendly. But then she disappeared, and I hadn't seen her for a long time. But I'm pretty sure this is her now. But she's got a spot there where before we were there, it was really pretty well hidden and off the beaten track. And but now, when I get close to her, let's say 10 feet, maybe any closer than 10 feet, she just takes off flying and abandons the nest, and the nest has 10 eggs in it. And at this stage of the game, I'm no ornithologist or biologist, but you don't have to do a lot of reading. That after they lay their whole, let's just call them a brood or a clutch, or lay all their eggs, they basically stay on them 24/7 for 28, 29 days. And I think that's kind of what's required, and I think maybe I don't even think that they really leave to eat and drink, but they might leave sometimes to eat and drink, But when she gets scared off, and I'm just one person, when she gets scared off, then that makes the eggs vulnerable not just to predators but to temperature. And there's some, incubation takes like some temperature requirements, and so now just imagine, well, the arborist, she had me fence them off, but she cared less for the ducks than she did for the killdeer, if that's even possible. And she just wanted a small perimeter. She's made a motion like 6 foot, and she said that the bird would be able to get in and get out. And but they're not helicopters. Ducks kind of take off in kind of a long, swoopy way. They kind of, But I saw her the other day, and she did seem like she was maybe able to. Maybe she could come. But anyway, so I put a fence around it that was maybe a little bit bigger than she said, like a 10-foot perimeter. But there's a log on one side, and I wanted to include the whole log, but the arborist told me that I had to just put it right there. And so there's a spot where the fence is only like 2 foot and 3 foot max from the eggs. And so now you can imagine that when a dog and or human is even, getting close, she's going to take off and leave. And so she won't be able to tend to her nest. She doesn't even come back right away when I leave. I don't know how long it takes her to come back, and I had to roust her up, when I did the fence, and I felt super bad about it. She looks real sweet just sitting there and kind of hidden, and so now the grand opening of the dog park is Monday at 6 o'clock in the evening. And then I just feel like the mixture of like all the commotion of the people and the dogs, there's just no way that either the killdeer or the duck especially now is extremely vulnerable. And the duck's eggs, and I don't know. I mean, how should I get upset about eggs? I mean, they're unhatched. They're like potential life, but they're not really life. And then I've seen ducks before in the wild where, like, say, one day you'll see them and they'll have like 12 little ducklings behind them. And then 3 or 4 days later, you'll see them and there'll be like 9. And then you'll see them a few days later and there'll be like 7. So things are always getting the ducklings, or something's always happening to them. So I imagine only like, say, 3 out of 10 ducklings make it to maturity or something like that. And so I don't know. It just seems like kind of like we could have just waited to open the dog park till both of these sets of eggs hatched. I mean, especially when it was just the one set of eggs, it was one thing, but now it's got the whole other set of the eggs, and then you can just imagine that it's not going to work out well. And then it's kind of weird. I tried to call I sent an email to the Department of Natural Resources. They just never responded. And then I tried to call the Fish and Game, the Utah, I think it's Fish and Wildlife or something, and they had a phone number. They had a phone number for non-emergencies and then like a tip liney type deal. And I tried both of those. And then after it said that, we want the things that they don't want to do, like they don't remove raccoons, or they don't do this and they don't do that. That basically, if after all the stuff they told you that they don't do, if you still feel like you might want them to do something, to press 0 for operator. So then you press 0 for operator, and it would say something like, I'm sorry, there's no operator at the moment. Or they would give you the business hours again, Monday through Friday, 8 to whatever, and I was calling it like 8:30. Well, at first I tried 8 because I was stupid enough to think somebody would answer the phone. But so I couldn't make any progress there, and then the city police work in the same building I do, so I feel like they would be on the same side as the city. And the dog park's named after a couple old police dogs, like Flash and Cairo or something like that. So I feel like the police wouldn't care because they probably want the dog park to be open no matter what. And so, because I could tell the police, and then the police could call the fish and game, and then the fish and game could come and look and then say, oh, yeah, well, these are federally protected, so this isn't going to work. But it seems as though federal protection doesn't mean anything. I'm super curious to how it's all going to play out. Even at the grand opening, there's supposed to be an animal control person there, and they're going to have a booth or a table or something, and you would think the animal control person would be like, well, wait a second. We need to relocate these duck eggs or do something. So then I was kind of thinking, well, or maybe there will be, I doubt it, but one of the people in the neighborhood that brings their dog would be like, hey, wait, this thing with the ducks is not going to work. We should probably call somebody or do something. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the citizens of Woodcross don't give a shit about birds. The employees don't give a shit about the birds. Like, I'm the only one, I feel like, in all of Salt Lake City. Maybe all of Utah, although I'm sure there's somebody else, but I don't know. The whole thing's just been making me kind of crazy, and I've, on one hand, I just try to let it go, just trying to do what I'm told, just trying to eat this shit sandwich, and on the other hand, I feel like I was even thinking about calling the newspaper Monday night, because after everybody's been there, I could maybe call anonymously and tell the newspaper the situation, and then they might make a story out of it, but I don't even know if they would care, I don't know what to do. And I got another paycheck. It's only $988. It's weird because my other one was $1,050, and then I was just thinking, God, man, is it worth it, and then today I had to go in just to open up the bathrooms, all the bathrooms, usually I just have to do a few because there's another crew, but on the weekend somebody's got to do it, and so I had to drive in there. I had to drive a half hour there for about an hour and a half's work, and then I had to be back at 2 o'clock to make sure about something else that only took like about a half an hour. But instead of driving back and forth, I just hung out there, killed time. I took a nap, I did some grocery shopping and some other stuff. So there was a lot of rigmarole just for a couple hours of work today that is not really going to add up to nothing. And then I got to go in tomorrow at like 7, open the bathrooms again. So another drive on the old motorcycle. I feel like the wear and tear on the bike. I just hope it'll make it the whole summer, and it needs some work, but I just kind of feel like the time and like when I was going to maybe do it today, but I just didn't have the energy. And then tomorrow I'm going to go up to do work on the tile job. So that's another thing. I couldn't work on the tile because I had to open up bathrooms, so I traded out, $500 and some for like 70-ish or something like that. It just doesn't even make any sense, but I guess, if I'm going to keep my job, because when they asked me, they said, what could I would work weekends, but I pictured it to be a whole day somehow on a Saturday. I didn't know. It's like, hey, drive here, do this for a little bit, and then you can go back home and then drive back and do something else today, and then come back tomorrow in the morning. So you ruin your whole weekend for just a pittance of money, I don't know, man. And then, so, I don't know. But then at the same time, I kind of felt like I have a little bit of stability going on, and it was nice to be able to buy groceries and to buy a new telephone, and I was able to get a new mattress I've been sleeping on real rough little camp mattress situation that was only like 30 inches wide, and I had gotten a few and kind of stacked them up, but they would always get compressed, and then I would try to move things around and put blankets, and I've been doing that for a long time, and it's just been making my nights miserable. So I found like a trucker's mattress on Amazon, and I ordered that too. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, but it's not going to be here till the end of the month, but at least that's progress. But I mean, so on one hand, things are getting better, but then I was just thinking, man, I really need to look for another job. Like, now's the time. Now's the time to look for another job, and I feel like if I could just get the energy, and update my resume, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff coming across my screen, and I'm like, oh, it seems like since I quit looking and got this job, there was kind of a lot of interesting jobs kind of coming around on Indeed and all those other search engines that never really seemed to work for me. But maybe now that I have this experience with the city, it would somehow help me to get another job, or I could try a little harder at getting the handyman thing going more or better. I'm not sure. I mean, I know I could get like a license, a business license, and maybe I could do some advertising with KSL, which is like the newspapery type of deal here. It's more like online classifieds, and so maybe that's the best bet. And yeah, I don't know. And I hadn't done another mushroom trip because I just felt like I haven't had time, and kind of like I had to just keep my senses about me, because between feeling jacked up about the ducks and the Killdeer, and then just the daily grind of getting up early and going to work, and then trying to do work on my tile job, and I've just been I feel like I have my plate full enough that I shouldn't be messing around with any psychedelic tripping, and just kind of waiting for the right time and space and place and all that. But yeah, well, I think that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening, Timmy.